This will be the second last thing of the night. The last thing will just be quenching the candle, as we usually do. A number of glitches tonight with our first night, but still it is nice to see people and it is nice to see faces. This, anyway, is a ballad. It's a love story that I heard and I made it into a ballad, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago. It's a love story called The Red Scarf. Dennis O'Connor, that's Dinny Jim Dan, a young lad from old Dingle Town. At football or fishing, he was the man. At both, he'd won fame and renown. When fishing at sea, he felt wild and free, and at football he'd yet to be bet. And all were agreed that with skill and with speed, he'd put ball or big fish in the net. At a dance in the Grove, he met Mary O'Shea, and he knew from the moment they met that this beautiful girl had his mind in a whirl, and his heart was entwined in her net. All around his home place, it was plain from his face that Dennis was smitten for life, and people would say that Mary O'Shea would make him a gorgeous young wife. Law and Jolene, they strolled down the Boreen. The ram music still rang in his head. He held her tight on that bright moonlit night and said, "Tell me the day we'll be wed." He gave her the ring. The best thing. For her 'twas the happiest time, and she giggled to see him go down on one knee and tell him this sweet silly rhyme. He said, "Mary, Mary, quite contrary, oh, you've won my heart. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, we'll never be apart." That night, 'neath the moon, they promised that soon they'd be married and happy together. They'd build a new home close by the sea foam, and contented they'd live there forever. Then came a chance on a boat bound for France for Dennis to earn great pay. He kissed both her cheeks, said, "It's just a few weeks. You can meet me back down at the quay." Mary gave a soft sigh as she bade him goodbye, but she smiled as the boat sailed away, for she knew that ere long her young fisherman strong would return and would never more stray. At night, in her bed, thoughts of him filled her head, and she sometimes felt lonely and sad. Then his poems she'd recite, and 'twould bring her delight, and make her feel happy and glad. "Mary, Mary, quite contrary, oh, you've won my heart. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, we'll never be apart." Out at sea, Dinny sweats, the work's hard as it gets, in sunshine, in wind, and in rain. Then a storm of great force blows them way off their course, and they end up in northern Spain. It was in Santander, while sheltering there, through laneways and streets Dinny roamed. In a dusty old shop where he happened to stop, found a gift for his girlfriend at home. A silk scarf he saw, bright red as the haw. 'Twas the present he'd bring Mary back. Imagine the scene, with her eyes emerald green, and her long flowing hair coloured black. This silk scarf bright red danced a dream in his head. In a bright box he wrapped it up tight, and his heart sang a song as the boat sped along when they set out for Ireland that night. Within a few days they had reached Dingle Bay, and the quay were his mum and his dad. But as he drew near, his heart filled with fear, for their faces were downcast and sad. Tight, tight was their hold as their story they told. His Mary had just passed away. His loving heart broke with the words that they spoke. She'd be buried in Dingle that day. His cries filled the air. He sank down in despair. He thought of the present he'd brought her, flung the box on the tide with the red scarf inside. It floated away on the water. Then, church, where inside he wept and he cried. She lay in her coffin, sealed tight. He begged and implored to see her once more, to gaze on her beauty so bright. The lid was undone, and then everyone saw him bend, and then stagger and sway. Round her neck, white as milk, was the scarf of red silk which she'd thrown on the water that day. Sinead Punch Gale, Fwyn Scarf Darach.
Oh my goodness.
So now, that all right, Maria? Good.
I love that.
Hello, Ryan.
Oh,
I'll
gorgeous,
finish up
gorgeous.
tonight, lads.